Seahawks and the St. Mark's High School Spartans. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please direct your attention to the floor as we welcome the co-founder of the SL24 Unlock the Light. Please put your hands together for Mr. Chris Locke.
Kevin, that was quite an announcement. I'm not used to having my name like that. Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me up there? Excellent. All right. Sounds good. In a few minutes, we're going to hear Olivia Rubini, Padua grad who was on The Voice, sing a song that I really think demonstrates why we're here tonight. The song is called I'll Stand By You. And when you hear the lyrics, you'll know why we chose that song. But at this time, I really want to highlight two people who personify I'll Stand By You. The first is Brian Radishevitz. We lost Brian to a heart attack in October at the age of 49. The Spartan family mourns his loss. He was a true Spartan. But Brian was also the voice of SL24 Basketball Classic for the past 5 years. He sat at that table the whole day on Friday, the whole day on Saturday, announcing hundreds of kids' names, announcing all the messages. He never left that chair during the Classic. Brian and his voice was amazing. And he is dearly missed by the Spartan Nation and by the SL24 family. Brian personally knew Sean, and he said to me many times, I loved your son. He was a great kid. I saw Dan Swayze a little while ago, and he said, Brian's the sort of guy that would just take his shirt off his back and give it to you. I would always try to pay Brian for his services, and he would always say, nope, keep it in the foundation. Well, Brian, we love you, and you are a great man. Each year we have a thank you event, and we give awards out in various categories, and one of those is community. We've decided at SL24, in his honor and his dedication for the mission of SL24, that we have decided to rename the award the Brian Radishevitz SL24 Community Award. And we want his family to receive the first award, so if you can come out here real fast, we'd appreciate it. Many of you have heard me say that Sean's house is like grandma's house. Well, one of those persons I think of when I think of the warmth, love, and guidance of a grandmother is Ann Carney. We lost recently at the wonderful age of 93. Mrs. Carney had 9 children and 19 grandchildren. And this family has been part of SL24 since the beginning. I got the pleasure to know Mrs. Carney when her granddaughter Hannah was on the same swim team as Sean. And we would sit around the pool and she would regale me of her stories when she was a college basketball player. And she was a remarkable woman. And after we lost Sean, whenever I saw Mrs. Carney, she would give me words of encouragement, words of gratitude. She also was a tremendous educator and devoted decades teaching children. In her honor and her family's dedication to the mission of SL24, we have decided to rename our education award the Ann Carney SL24 Education Award. We would like this first award to go to her family. If they can come out, please. So as I said, both Brian and Ann personified the song we're about to hear, I'll Stand By You. I think also earlier this year when Maddie Way spoke up very honestly and spoke about her mental health journey. And her family, Tripp, Gina, and her brother Trevor, and Rob, and Connie Whittick, have really taken it on themselves to make a change and be a tremendous supporter in dedicating their time and resources to opening up the Sean's rooms you've been hearing about. The song I'll Stand By You personifies what they are doing, what Ann has done, what Brian has done, what all of you have done. The lyric says the following: "Oh, why do you look so sad? Tears are in your eyes. Come on and come to me now. Don't be ashamed to cry. Because I've seen the dark side too. When the night falls on you, you don't know what to do. Nothing you confess can make me love you less. When you're standing at a crossroad and don't know which path to choose, let me come along. I'll stand by you. I won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. Take me into your darkest hour, and I'll never desert you. I'll stand by you." This is what SL24 is all about. This is our mission. We will always stand by you. We will always help you in your darkest hour. We will never desert you. All of you tonight have made this possible. Your support of SL24 will continue to help those out of darkness and to unlock their light. So I now would like to ask Olivia and her dad to come on out here. We're going to dim the lights, and if you are willing to stand up for somebody, I ask you to stand up, turn on your lights, and let's make this dark room be as bright as possible. I thank each and every one of you, and God bless.
get mad. Don't hold it all inside. Come on and talk to me now. Yeah. What do you got to hide? Let me see you through. 'Cause I'm a lot like you. And when the night falls on you, baby, you're feeling all alone. You won't be on your own. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. Take me into your darkest hour, and I'll never desert you. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Olivia Rubini. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, good evening and welcome to the 7th annual SL24 Basketball Classic. Tonight's game features the visiting team, Delaware Military Academy Seahawks, and the home team, St. Mark's High School Spartans. We're honored to have you for a great night of basketball community and supporting our important mental health mission affecting so many of our friends and family. This time, we do ask that you please rise, and gentlemen, we ask that you please remove your caps as we honor America and all that serve and protect our freedom, both home and abroad. Fans, please direct your attention to the floor, presenting our colors this evening. Please welcome the color guard representing Delaware Military Academy. And now, ladies and gentlemen, forming her rendition of the Star Spangled Banner, please welcome St. Mark's student Abby Eman.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home
The 7th annual SL24 Basketball Classic is presented by BTL Foundation, CBM Insurance, Delaware Heating and Air, DSM Commercial, and HFM Advisors.
It's the SL24 Basketball Classic, the 7th annual event from the Chase Field House, and it is Sean Locke's alma mater, the St. Mark's Spartans, taking on the DMA Seahawks in the nightcap of night number 1. I'm Scott Klatzen alongside Barnett Harris and Bill Harmon. What a day it has been, and we're all looking forward to this one. Great energy in the building for game number 3.
This game is always a rivalry game. These two teams have competed against each other for a number of years. St. Mark's coming in as really one of the better teams in the state. DMA has competed well all season long. They've got some really good senior leadership. Coach Papillo does a really good job with his team. I'm expecting an excellent contest here this evening.
I'm excited to see these two high-power, electric offenses play a fantastic game to round out night 1.
We've had some great energy in the building so far. We expect the same and more tonight as the jerseys that Sean used to wear are going to be performing on the court. It's St. Mark's, Sean's alma mater. They are 8-2 on the season, coached by Lonnie Wright in his 4th year as the head man for the Spartans. And for DMA, they come in 10-3 on the year, coached by Francis Papillo in his 2nd season. Let's get you starters now for both of these teams as they're announced on the floor. You see Lonnie Wright, so let's talk about his squad. Khalil Kemp, Dylan Bromwell, the sharpshooter, has made 19 threes on the season. Tariq Warner, their leading scorer. Max Batten and Nathan Meyer with 29 rebounds on the year. Their leader in that category, the starting 5 for St. Mark's. St. Mark's coming off their bench onto the floor. But on the flip side, Delaware Military Academy, they'll go with Jackson Lennon, their leading scorer. Ryan Shaw, the best three-point shooter on the team. Shannon Cohen, Gabriel Francica, and Sean O'Connor round out the starting 5. You can see Sean's jersey on the chair. The reason we are here for number 24, it's the SL24 Basketball Classic, and his alma mater about to take the court against DMA.
Earlier, we talked about Sean Locke being a terrific freshman to start. This Dylan Bromwell can really play. He is a superb three-point shooter, moves extremely well without the ball. Sean would be very fond of the way this guy plays. He's never found a shot he didn't like. He's a good defender, a tough guy. He's going to be an outstanding player for Coach Wright as they move forward in his career. As we get set for tip-off, a reminder, you can donate by scanning that QR code on your screen. You can also head to unlockthelight.com/donate. You see on the screen multiple ways to donate to an amazing cause. Last year, over $600,000 were raised for SL24 Unlock the Light and Sean's House. This is year number 7, and so far over $2 million have been raised and going to an amazing cause. You can also head to givebutter.com/SL24 Classic 7. St. Mark's in the home white uniforms. They'll be going left to right. DMA in the road navy and gold. It is a top matchup in the state of Delaware high school basketball, and we are so pleased to be here for it. Interesting start. Tariq Warner does not typically start. He comes off the bench. Usually Michael Friend starts, but Warner is just an instant offense player. Second most threes on the team, a really good defender. Sean O'Connor will operate for DMA. 10 wins for the Seahawks, 8-2 go the Spartans. It is a heavyweight matchup, and you can feel the energy in the building as everyone's starting to file in after what was a very passionate and powerful message from Chris Locke prior to this game. An amazing rendition by Olivia Rubini, who sang Stand By You. It was an amazing interlude between games, and now ready to go. A line drive triple gets us started. That's Cohen, his first make from distance of the year. Yeah, he's not known for his shooting. He's a defender and a driver.
Pretty flat shot, but winning gets DMA off to a great start.
He heard I was on the call, and he wanted to impress me, Scott.
Did he do that?
He did indeed. I am very
You
impressed.
find yourself impressed by the line drive triple that goes through. 3-0 DMA to start. And another one, raining threes to start as Jackson Lennon makes it a quick 6 for DMA.
Well, he's a great long-range shooter. Both he and Shaw are terrific players. Can get that 3 off in a hurry.
Now St. Mark's trying to get 3 back. A contested triple from the corner. And a rebound for DMA. Jackson Lennon going off the bounce into traffic and nearly a turnover. It's recovered by Francica.
Francica's a big man, takes up a lot of space. They don't run a lot of plays for him, but he's a good screener and a good finisher around the basket.
I like the pace DMA is playing with. They're getting into their sets pretty quickly, and they're trying to get shots up with very fast.
There's been a foul call there on the reach. Instead, it goes to DMA, and an air ball is shot by Jackson Lennon. Ball goes out of bounds, which will allow us to bring in a very special guest. We talk about the top teams playing tonight and throughout the day tomorrow. Well, they'll all be playing for a championship, a DIAA championship, battling soon at the end of the season. And so we bring in the executive director of the DIAA, Dave Baylor. Thank you so much for being here, Dave.
Yeah, it's good to see you guys. It's good to see you.
David, how are you? Welcome.
I mean, it looks like Delaware home week here.
That's right. We are excited to be here. It is always great to talk to you, and to talk to you at an event like this is just fantastic. How has this event impacted high school basketball in the state of Delaware?
Well, I think it's not only impacted high school basketball, but high school athletics around. I mean, what Sean's family has done to bring mental health awareness to the forefront has helped student athletes at all levels. And we're proud to be a part of it. We're proud to see our student athletes be engaged. And it's been a positive thing for the state of Delaware.
We were talking earlier about how these warm-up shirts that all these teams get coming in here with the SL24 logo and Lock 24 on the back have a badge of honor. You walk around town with that shirt on, it means you played for a team that was good enough to play in this basketball classic. Teams, players, they want to be here.
Well, I tell you, I met with Chris Locke earlier today, and he said the waiting list to get here is growing each year. And, that's a testament to this tournament. That's a testament to what all you have done to bring this awareness of not only the tournament, but what it represents to the state of Delaware. And like I said, we're proud to be a part of this.
Free throw good from Dylan Bromwell gets St. Mark's on the board. We're talking to the executive director of the DIAA, Dave Baylor. Thank you so much for being here. And the schedule that a guy that knows a little bit about DIAA championships, Trevor Cooney, put together as he's part of the planning committee here for SL24. The schedule of teams that has been put together over this 2-day span, I mean, it is some of the best that'll be playing at this Chase Fieldhouse.
I think what you're seeing is a prelude to the state tournament. And you're getting to see it right now before it happens. But these student athletes from both DMA and St. Mark's are some of the best, and it's nice to watch. And tomorrow night you're going to have equally a good lineup with Sally's and Sanford. You got Odessa versus Middletown. You got Ursuline playing, Howard, Smyrna, Archmere, St. George's, Polytech. What a lineup.
The list goes on and on when you talk about high-quality basketball from start to finish throughout the day. It'll tip off at 10:24 a.m. and ode to the 24 worn by Sean Locke as a bucket and a foul for St. Mark's will give Max Batten a chance to head to the line and finish a three-point play. But we are seeing, as you said, maybe a preview of games that will be played down the line in the state tournament. We talk SL24 basketball. We're here broadcasting a game where his alma mater is on the floor. You remember seeing Sean Locke around campus at the University of Delaware.
I remember seeing him around the campus of Delaware. I remember seeing him at St. Mark's. He was a great young man. Student athlete aside, he was just a nice young man at Delaware, and that whole team that he was a part of, it was nice to be around. So I got the best of both worlds. I was on the football team, but I got to hang out with the basketball guys, and it was great.
As there's a turnover and a run out Basket made by Dylan Bromwell. He's up to 3 points. Now St. Mark's has taken the lead. How have you enjoyed your time as executive director of the DIAA?
I enjoy it because it gives me and my staff the opportunity to help student athletes up and down the state. We're trying to make it better. We're trying to do some things to expand sports. We're looking at flag football. Girls wrestling is now part of the IAA sports. So we're looking at the ways to bring more students involved in interscholastic athletics.
And you're doing a fantastic job of giving an outlet. Sometimes sports helps with mental health, or all the time sports helps with mental health as well, because it gives an outlet, it gives friendship, it gives a community, and that's what Sean's house is for. That's what the SL24 Unlock the Light Foundation is for. It all works together, hand in hand.
One of the things that drove Sean was being a part of the team. And every young student athlete, one of the things they tell you is it wasn't about wins or losses. It was about the camaraderie, the journey with their teammates. And that's what we want to continue.
And we're doing that with the SL24 Basketball Classic. On the run out, Khalil Kemp double clutches, misses, put back, strong and stripped. On the run is DMA, a foul by Max Batten. Dave Baylor, Executive Director of the DIAA. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you so much for being a part of this amazing event.
Guys, thanks for having me. And if anybody's out there listening, come on down and be a part of this atmosphere. I'm going to spend the night here so I can be here for the first game tomorrow.
You get to be front row. That's how it works. If you camp out, we'll put you courts. I got a feeling you get to sit wherever you want to, being the executive director of the DIAA. Such
David,
great basketball.
Thank you.
Can't
Scott,
tell you how much we appreciate you stopping by.
appreciate you, brother.
All right, that's Dave Baylor, and always great to talk with him. Some amazing basketball going on over these next 2 days. He talked about it going down the line in terms of top teams in the state of Delaware, playing tonight, playing tomorrow. And Dave Baylor, great guy, we've known for years, and they're under great leadership, the DIAA, with him as the executive director.
They are in excellent shape. Dave Baylor has worn a lot of different hats in his day, guys, and he's done very well in whatever venture he has undertaken, and a really terrific guy to represent the state, especially at the level of the DIAA.
Shannon Cohen made a three, misses on the free throw, going over the back was Francisca. And so the first 6 belong to DMA, as we were talking with Dave Baylor. St. Mark's reeling off 8 in a row as we get past the middle of the first quarter.
St. Mark's is an incredibly dangerous team in the open court. They do as good a job as anybody at pushing the ball by the dribble or the pass. They run the lanes extremely well. Everybody on the court's an athlete and can play in the open court transition game.
10-6 is the count. St. Mark's 10 in a row. DMA trying to find some offense after a quick start.
St. Mark's is so aggressive that what they do is they speed up the other team to play literally outside of their own skin, and that's what you have to do when you play against St. Mark's. You need to slow down, be under control, play at your speed, because if not, St. Mark's is just too good at their game.
St. Mark's comes in very motivated. Lost to St. Elizabeth on Monday, a 53-45 loss. Snap what was a 4-game winning streak. They've been on 2 4-game winning streaks, has St. Mark's, to get to their 8 wins on the year. Help defense by Lennon. Gets the ball back to the Seahawks. He's going to try to take it coast to coast, but he pitter-pattered on those feet and travels to give it back to the Spartans.
Though that mistake occurred, Lennon is their most solid player. He's good at both ends, on offense and in defense. He's a good long-range shooter, not their best, but he can stretch the defense as well, and not a bad ball handler. They'll use him to break the pressure.
Nathan Meyer, he shuffled his feet a bit and traveled to give it right back to DMA. Great crowd on hand, and we're seeing some turnovers early on. You got to settle in a bit, playing in a new arena in front of a larger crowd, perhaps, than a regular home game, and both teams will.
I think these games are always a little bit more emotional than people want to let on. You've just got to settle down, play within yourself, play to your strengths, and try not to get caught up in the emotion of the moment.
Absolutely. A lot of energy in the room. People are excited. People playing maybe a little bit ahead of themselves. I think both teams will start to settle in, settle down to the crowd, the atmosphere, the environment, and get back to what they know best.
10-6, St. Mark's on top. Quick 6 for DMA. They haven't scored since the opening minutes of this contest. Warner usually comes off the bench. A starter tonight, kicks in the corner, and a misfire by Dylan Bromwell. We'll give it back to DMA as Brower off the bench will bring the ball up the floor.
We were talking about Coach Fran Papillo earlier, and I've been really impressed with him, having to play DMA for 2 years in a row. He has good structure. His kids play hard for him, are very consistent, and usually they play at their pace. And this is a tough team. They'll be first to the floor. They'll block out. They'll draw a charge. It may be the military attitude, but I think Francis Papillo, who's been at DMA for a long time, has an awful lot to do with the way they play.
Yeah, I mentioned that Coach Papillo's in his second year as the head man, but to your point, Bill, 13th season coaching basketball at DMA. He was assistant for Phil Hill.
And isn't that remarkable? Unfortunately, Phil Hill has left us. He was a really fine coach, but to be at a program for that long really speaks well, not only of DMA, but Coach Papillo.
Beautiful looking shot from Khalil Kemp, a senior who's made double figures 5 times on the season, and he's halfway to that mark in the first quarter. He's got 5, and DMA just cannot find their offense. This is a 13-0 run by the Spartans. A foul will perhaps give DMA a chance to snap that streak at the line.
Absolutely, and Scott, DMA scored 6 points in the first 30 seconds. So they've gone basically this entire quarter without scoring. And they need to find something. They need to see the ball go into the hoop to help their confidence. We talked about Sean being a confident shooter back in his day. They need to find something to get their confidence back because they made some mistakes. They missed a lot of shots. They need to see just something go through so they feel good about themselves.
St. Mark's defense is really amped up, and they're making DMA right now play at a different speed than they want. They need to slow it down, maybe even a timeout to calm things down. They've got some wonderful sets that they play against man-to-man. They need to utilize some of those and get a little bit better execution out of their offense.
4 missed free throws for Shannon Cowan at the stripe tonight. Still stuck at 6. Goes DMA, a couple substitutions for St. Mark's. They don't lose a whole lot when they go to their bench. 9 different players have reached double figures this year for Lonnie Wright's ball club. And a bucket on the left side by a man that typically comes off the bench. Instant offense, the 6-man Tariq Warner got the start tonight.
Warner's a lefty. He's got a wonderful first step, very quick. He's fearless in his threes, the second most threes on the team behind Brumel.
And now a strip. St. Mark's ahead. It's Kemp. Kemp power dribble to the rim. Cannot finish, but he gets the foul. Will head to the free throw line.
Kemp is a transfer from Caesar Rodney, who was an excellent player down there. He brings a lot of quickness, a lot of defense, and toughness to the St. Mark's team. He's electric in the open court, creates a lot of his own offense out of his defense.
And, Coach, he has a quick first step. When he gets the ball and he's pushing, he has a quick first step.
And he's just quick overall, Barnett. I really like the way this guy plays. He's very disruptive.
Bends his knees at the free throw line, knocks in the first. He's been playing so well as of late is Khalil Kemp. Double figures in each of his last 4 games played. Did not play against Red Lion. He had double figures once in his first 5 games, so really turning it on for St. Mark's as of late. Averaging double figures on the season, 92 points coming into this one. Makes the free throw to get him 6, and now 7 points in the first quarter. This St. Mark's team can get off to a hot start. They scored 71 points through the first 3 quarters versus Red Lion last Thursday. They called off the Dogs in the 4th quarter, but this team can pour it on, and after a turnover, a chance to add 2 more. Strong off the backboard. The ricochet goes out to Meyer, back inside to filling game, and he gets stripped. A lot of contact underneath. Where is that whistle, Barnett? I'm looking for it.
I was wondering if they dropped it.
But just to call out of bounds.
That play was initiated by, I think, the toughest guy on their team is Nathan Meyer. He's a real hustler. He was first to the floor, broke the ball loose. Kemp got the ball and then passed it ahead to Filling Game, who comes in and gives him some really good minutes off the bench.
12 seconds left as DMA has not scored for about 7.5 minutes. 5 seconds to get on the board before heading back to the bench, and they do. At the end of the first quarter, DMA bookending the first quarter with buckets, but in between it was all St. Mark's. A 17-0 run helping the Spartans get up to a 17-8 score after 8 minutes. We'll be back. It's the SL24 Basketball Classic, 7th annual from the Chase Field House.
so slow.
Good thing we brought Jersey Mike's. Is that Danny DeVito?
Don't worry about me. This is a commercial for Jersey Mike's. And at Jersey Mike's, the subs matter most. Freshly sliced right in front of you. That's what matters here. Almost forgot. I found your ball.
It's a rock.
Where the subs matter most. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
The 7th annual SL24 Basketball Classic is brought to you by Marticelli Restaurant Group, Matt Haley Trust, Nemours, TKO Hospitality, and by Warren & Taylor.
A 17-0 run, something Sean Locke would certainly be proud of his alma mater for in the first quarter. St. Mark's DMA from the Chase Fieldhouse. It's the 7th annual SL24 Basketball Classic. And after 6 straight to start for DMA, it was all Spartans in that first frame.
And it's really keyed by their defense. They create a lot. They get deflections. They're very quick to the ball. On the rebound outlet, they're going to push it. They push it ahead with the dribble and the pass. All 5 players run lanes. That's something Lonnie Wright's done a really good job of in his 4 years at St. Mark's, is get them out into fast break action. They also love to sub a lot, and he'll bring in 3 or 4, sometimes even 5 new players at the start of the quarter. I don't believe that Michael Friend, who is a terrific ball handler and great on-the-ball defender, is available tonight, and that's why Warner's starting.
Aiden Kukalo comes into the game. He had a great contest last Thursday against Red Lion. 8 assists, 7 steals off the bench for Kukalo. And now Kemp trying to add to his total. Misfire from the right side. And it is an honor right now to be joined by the man of the hour, the man of every hour, Chris Locke, the SL24 Sean's House co-founder. Those titles don't really matter. Sean's dad, that's who you are. And thank you so much for joining the broadcast. A powerful intermission before the St. Mark's DMA game.
It was amazing. Olivia singing that song, and the crowd, it was really a moment, without a doubt. I said to my daughter, I said, I literally have chills up my spine.
Well, you do
really
such a great job, Chris, of setting the stage always. It's you're so genuine, and your words are so heartfelt that you can't imagine how many people you reach in those moments.
Well, Bill, you knew Sean, and that was him.
Yes, I did it.
That was him.
Well.
He gives me the energy to do this. It's tough, and but he was a kid, as you know, would help anybody. So I'm just carrying on his spirit. That's all I'm doing.
Well, you're doing it at a great level, and you're helping so many people. It's just marvelous, Chris, what you've done. 7 years, it doesn't seem like it to me. It is absolutely amazing what you and the foundation have built in such a short time. You just got to be amazingly proud of everybody in the effort, but so much of the emphasis is you. I mean, you drive it, and you have a lot of great people working for you, but you're really the guy that's done it.
You're very kind, Bill, but it really is the community. I mean, none of this is possible if these people don't come to the game and buy the merchandise and do the auction and all that. I mean, that's what makes this all possible. And we feed off that energy. We feed off the love that they give us, so we know, okay, we're going to do it again. We're going to do it again, do it again. And it's just amazing.
There's an amazing energy in the building tonight, and St. Mark coming out with a lot of energy. Your son's jersey on their bench, number 24, and they're playing a way that would make Sean very proud. Maybe they need a few more three-pointers. I think Sean would like to see him shoot a little bit more from a distance, but a 17-0 run in that first quarter. We know that Sean started his high school basketball career, literally started as a freshman and was a 4-year player on varsity at St. Mark's. What do you remember most of his time playing for this great school?
Well, we were really blessed, and I said this when I was speaking to the Archmere team, because Nick Sanders, the head coach there now, and that was Sean's coach, and I talked about Nick and Bill Harmon, and how blessed Sean was to have 2 great coaches like Bill and Nick. And he's not the player without those 2 coaching him, giving him tutelage to really make him into the basketball player he became. He was a skinny little 8th grader when he came on.
He was a little skinny dude.
Yes, he was. And
But
Bill would
fearless,
Bill would
Chris.
feed him milkshakes and this thing and all that. And
I tried to get him on the ice cream diet that I was on.
You did. And those are special moments. And Bill and Nick were such dear coaches to Sean. And he doesn't become a college player without the two of them. And so I remember that. And of course, when you have a kid that was so athletically talented like he was, you sit there as a dad and you're like, wow, before the grace of God goes I. I mean, he was just an amazing kid.
Well, you share stories and smiles and laughs, and I'll tell you what, every year, and it's the same every year, I prep for this game and I write my notes and I get ready for, and I am a mess all day long. Tears are rolling down my face and just sad thinking about how much we miss Sean. And then I get in the building and it's a celebration of his life. The energy here is to remember and share stories, and I'm so honored to be a part of these broadcasts where I get to sit next to Bill and sit next to you and sit next to Barnett and just share stories for hours about Sean, because every year it's the same, is that I don't know how I'm going to get through the broadcast, and you come in this building and it's just filled with love every single year.
It's true. I have the same exact feeling. Right before it starts, I literally have a moment, and you think of them. And then all of a sudden somebody will come up and say, thank you. I had someone come up to me and he said, I came to Sean's house 4 years ago. I'm standing here today because of Sean's house. That's love. That's sharing. That's honesty. And that's what Sean would want us to do.
Chris, one of the things so many things I remember so distinctly about Sean that I really respected, but I thought his handling of his injuries throughout his career in high school and in college never seemed to deter him. He just kind of fought with it. I mean, got through his rehab, dealt with it like a man. I was always just so impressed with that. A lot of people might have said, I've had bad luck, but that never affected him. And even in the end there at Delaware, when he became a captain and became a scholarship player, that guy was playing on one leg, but you wouldn't have known it.
You wouldn't have known it.
And then Scotty made the great story about Sean scoring in the NCAAs when we were all out in Spokane. I mean, I still remember it vividly. And Scotty made a great call of it, and I was there. I didn't have much to add. I said, this is too good to be true.
It was.
But it was too good to be true because of everything he overcame in terms of his injuries, and that he just never let that affect him.
And I think his journey with his physical injuries, I think he thought he could deal with his mental health injuries the same way.
And that's a great point.
Kind of put it in the corner. I got it like I got my ACL, like I got my bad back. But the problem is, mental illness isn't like an ACL or bad back. It's a serious disease, no different than cancer. And just if you have cancer, you got to get the help. You got to see a doctor. You got to take medicine. It's the same thing with mental illness, because when you're dealing with mental illness, you don't know when that dark day is going to come where you find yourself in the situation he found himself in. And I think he didn't see it coming until it happened. And unfortunately, he suffered in silence. And that's why we do what we do. That's why we talk at half court. We get the message out. Every player I talk to, do not suffer in silence. Don't think it's okay to suck it up, push through the pain. You cannot push through the pain of mental illness. You've got to get help. You've got to talk to a therapist. You've got to take medicine maybe. Whatever the case may be, but you've got to get the help and ask for the help.
We're talking with the co-founder of SL24 and Sean's House, Sean's dad, Chris Locke, and we were talking throughout the broadcast of Sean and to everything you had mentioned in his career at the University of Delaware. He was homecoming king. He was voted best all around. He was voted best smile. He played 4 years of varsity basketball. You would think a guy like that would have no reason to face depression or anxiety. And really, until Sean's House came along for the community, there's 30-some thousand people that maybe didn't have a place either. So we miss Sean so very much, and he was an amazing teammate, friend, person. But what you're doing to make sure that he is never forgotten, his legacy is helping so many. It's just such a great legacy that he is leaving for everyone in the community. And for Sean's House, just talk a little bit about the impact that has made since opening just 5 years ago, or not even 5 years.
Yeah, 4 years and a couple months. I want to get back to something that you just rattled off a bunch of things about Sean and how great he was, and you rattled off about being captain and playing March Madness. And that, I think, shows you that this disease is insidious. This disease is indiscriminate. It doesn't care how successful you are. It doesn't care anything about your life. Right? It's a disease, and you didn't do anything to get it. Your parents didn't do anything to give it to you. It's a disease. And I think we have to remember, I think that's what resonates. Sean's story resonates with people because he had this bigger-than-life life. And they're all like, what? You know, Nick Sanatoto, I couldn't believe it. And that's it. And that's hopefully the message that, you know, hey, it's indiscriminate. Get help. And, you know, Sean's house shows that. I mean, you know, 34,000. We just saved our 139th person, you know, and in 4 years, 139 people who wanted to end their life are still here today. And that's his legacy, I guess.
And it's all thanks to what you have done, but the help of others as well. A lot of fundraising being done. Over $600,000 were raised last year, over $2 million in 6 years, and now into year 7 of the 7th annual SL24 Basketball Classic. And all of the money goes to help out the SL24 Foundation and Sean's house. I know that you are so appreciative of every dollar that comes in.
We are, and because we, and Bill has heard me say, we take it very seriously when a dollar is donated to make sure that it goes to the programming, that it goes to the help that we're trying to do with these people. 93% of every dollar we raise goes to programming, goes to resources available to people. You know, if you need a scholarship to see a mental health professional, we'll pay for it. And we'll pay for it for as long as you need it. You know, we keep the lights on at Sean's house 24/7. Every dollar we take, and whether it's a $20 check that someone sends from us from Arizona or a $20,000 check that we get somebody, every dollar is precious, and we have a fiduciary duty to make sure we spend it wisely.
Chris, I'll tell you what's so amazing about you, and I'd like you to kind of explain it to the listeners. This is a big deal. You do a lot of work, and it's a lot of emotional work. Every day you've got to get up and have a remembrance, but also know you've got to push on to continue this cause. What's been so remarkable about it is it's been grassroots, and I love that, and I think those are the most long-lasting ones, and I think that speaks to why this is done. But your energy to be able to get up and do this every day, I don't think people know how much you put into this, the talks you give at different schools and the people. It takes a big toll on you, but you certainly don't look, none for the worse of it, and you look younger than the last couple of years.
Oh, you're very kind. It does.
But it is remarkable what you do with your time and your energy.
Well, Mike Corey asked me a question earlier for an interview yesterday, and he pretty much the same thing. Where do you get that energy? And so in my bureau, I have a picture of all my children, and there's a picture of Sean. And as I get ready for work every day, I look out and say, okay, another day. And that's what it's about. It's another day trying to do what we need to do. Another day to hopefully someone who's suffering silence will finally say, okay, I need help. And that's what it's about. And, you know, I know it sounds corny, but he does speak to me, you know, it's in my heart. You know, when you lose someone, their voice is still with you for the rest of your life. And his voice is with me forever.
You talk about another day, and you are helping others make sure that they get another day. And you talk about 139 people didn't want to have another day, but Sean's house was there to make sure that they would. And it's just incredible how you've been able to support the community in every way. It all started his love of basketball, I'm sure, prior to St. Mark's, but he was a star at St. Mark's High School. What does it mean to have this night where you can showcase his alma mater on a kind of a separate night before the games on Saturday?
I love it. I mean, you know, I'm a basketball guy like Bill is. I mean, it means a lot. And, you know, Lonnie, how gracious of him to put Sean's jersey on that chair. He started that a few years ago, and it's a beautiful thing to know that they remember him. You know, we have a framed jersey of his, and it goes into the St. Mark's locker room. It's there, and we tell him, you know, you're his team. And St. Mark's has done very well here in this tournament. They've had more wins than losses, so that's what it's all about. And so it means the world. It really does.
As it should. And Sean is here watching his alma mater with a 26-14 lead, playing well over at DMA. We talked about it earlier on in the broadcast, but I always want to share with you as well just how important Sean was
to me when I got started. I was the new guy on the block, Mike Corey, who we'll hear from tomorrow, who's a big part of the SL24 Unlock the Light Foundation as a broadcaster. He moved on, and I took over his role as voice of the Blue Hens, and I didn't know a whole lot of people, didn't know Sean. But once I got started as a broadcaster, Sean would make sure before every game he came over, shook my hand, looked me in the eyes, and said hello, and had a few words of encouragement or a smile or something that just made me feel connected. And that's who he was. He was just a remarkable guy, and I always appreciate that. So I want to make sure I told you that as well as his lasting legacy.
He was probably trying to get airtime with you, and that's why I was shaking hands.
He was a little bit of a politician.
Yes, he was. I used to
if
say,
I remember correctly.
Yeah, I used to say, I said, Sean, you're going to be governor someday. and you know, he just had that personality.
I remember running into you on the way into Madison Square Garden. We were playing Bryant, I believe, up there. And before the game up at MSG, and he was a member of the championship team in 2014. Do you have a memory of his playing days at the University of Delaware that stands out?
Well, the Madison Square Garden, you know, as Bill said, he had a lot of injuries and stuff, but he did get a chance to play there. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was sitting in front of me. And Sean's there, and Sean shoots a three, makes it. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar says to the guy next to him, that kid's got a good three-point. And I said to my wife, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar just talked about Sean.
I've never heard that story.
And my wife goes, who? I said, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Who's that?
She knew him as Lou Alcindor. She wasn't.
Lou Alcindor, exactly.
That's familiar.
So
Power Memorial.
It puts it all in perspective.
I don't know how you were able to see the game if Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was
I wasn't going to say a thing. He wasn't.
Did he ask for Sean's autograph? That's what I want.
That would be great. That would be great.
Hey, Chris, what's really been fun recently? See you at a few more Delaware basketball games. It's really been fun to run into you there as we make the way around, Scott and I.
Yeah, so this year I decided to go back and become a season ticket holder. It was tough, you know, to get back there. There's a lot of memories there. But I'm glad I did it. I've enjoyed it.
It's so fun to see you there.
I've enjoyed it tremendously. A couple weekends ago, my wife and I were there, and John Camden made a three, got fouled, and he jumped up and he slapped my hand. That's right. I'm part of the team. So
well, you do have a pretty good seat where you are.
I do have a nice seat. So
well, speaking of which, at the University of Delaware this year, there was the SL24 Basketball Classic as Phil Martelli Jr. came back in, and he said you called him, and before you get the sentence out, he said, I'm in, a former assistant coach of Sean's when he played at Delaware on Monte Ross's staff. And so this is an amazing 2 days, but you've expanded into the college game now, which is fantastic.
And we want to. You know, the NCAA, we need to really focus on those college student athletes and what they go through their junior and senior years. You know, most of them are not going to make the pros, and their identity is so much in their sport. So how do they transition out of being an athlete into the real world? So we really want to work with the NCAA and, you know, through University of Delaware to really start teaching these athletes, okay, here's how you transition out of being a high-caliber athlete, but now you're going into the real world. So we were really blessed to have UD be part of that thank you event, and we're looking to grow that in the future.
We're talking with Chris Locke, Sean's dad, and the co-founder of SL24 and Sean's House. We mentioned Trevor Cooney, who was a friend of Sean's and now part of the Chase Field House and putting on this event, and he was part of booking some of these teams. What a slate of basketball games we've got over the course of 2 days.
Yeah, Trevor, so I always want to give credit. This whole tournament was Trevor Cooney's idea. This was not Chris Locke's idea. This was Trevor Cooney. He wanted to do something to honor his friend, and he had the idea. And we're talking about 2018, when not too many athletes were talking about mental health. And he said, let's bring basketball and mental health together. This was his brainchild, and it's just amazing. And you know, he worked here, now he's with another commercial real estate company, DSM. But you know, this was his baby, and he puts his teams together. And as I said to you, I mean, 9 out of 10 are in the top 20 in the boys, 5 out of the 6 in the top 15 for the girls. I mean, the kid is amazing. He's like a basketball guru. He just seems to know how they're all going to be. So it's a
well, if you remember, he was a pretty darn good player at Sanford and at Syracuse.
He was phenomenal.
I think he's got a pretty good feel for the game.
Yeah, probably the best basketball player the state of Delaware has ever seen.
I would have loved to see a game of horse between Sean Locke and Trevor Cooney. I'm sure you got to witness it a couple driveway battles.
We did, both when they played at the CYM League, but also when St. Mark's and Sanford played against each other, and Sean and Trevor would match up against each other.
As we get to the end of the first half of basketball, St. Mark's doing a great job, up by 10, 29-19. For those that have been watching this exciting day and will do so tomorrow. What is the message you want them to take away from this broadcast?
Don't suffer in silence. Don't be like Sean. Don't suffer in silence. Get help. Verbalize what you're going through. Show vulnerability, and that'll give you great power. That's the message.
It's an amazing one. It's a powerful one. You'll speak again tomorrow as well?
I will.
And I'm sure it doesn't get any easier throughout the years, but those that come and get to hear you speak, it's emotional, it's powerful, but it's a great cause. It's a great reason, and for you to carry on your son's legacy every day. Just you get another day. Sean doesn't, unfortunately, and what you do to make sure that he is never forgotten is powerful, and the community cannot thank you enough. And what you've done for over 33,000 people at Sean's house is incredible work.
Well, I thank you, Scott. You know, you mean the world to me. Bill, you know you mean the world to me.
As well.
And you
Chris,
every
do me a
year.
favor, get some sleep tonight.
I will. And every year you guys dedicate your time for this, and it's really greatly appreciated.
Well, I'll tell you one last thing is Sean is one of my favorite people that I've ever met, and you did such a great job with him. I have a son as well, and if he grows up to be like Sean, I'll be so proud. I love you, Chris.
I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Love you, man.
Well done, Christopher. Thanks so much for all you're doing for the community and everybody that you touch every day.
Thank you, Bill.
That's Chris Locke, Executive Director, excuse me, not executive, I don't know what I'm saying anymore here, founder of the SL24 Unlock the Light Foundation.
This
I
is
saved that for
why-
last. I wanted to get it out.
This is why
I knew
I
it'd be
love
hard to
working.
make.
This is why I love working with you. You have just such a great sense of the moment. You are such a great parent and father. Your comments are so heartfelt and so honest and so genuine. That's why I have a pleasure and an honor sitting next to you so often. It means the world to me. But those comments, those emotional moments, tells me everything I need to know about you that I haven't already known, but I know everything. You are a terrific, terrific person.
Thank you, Bill. I thought I'd be able to get a horn and head into the locker room off that comment, but
You
a
didn't
foul
get one,
at
but you pulled it
2.8
out.
means I have to keep going. I thought I timed that pretty well. So he'd wipe the tears and head off the air, but no thanks to a foul called at the end, we had to pause.
Scotty, it is an emotional moment, and
Absolutely.
it's great that people like you are able to express that openly and with no absolute fear. I mean, it's just, that's, again, one of the reasons I love you so much.
Well, we love being here. It's halftime. We'll talk more hoops in the second half. We wanted to give Chris Locke a full quarter to talk about the SL24 Basketball Classic, and what a great man we just spoke with. Thank you for being with us. We're going to take a break at halftime. When we come back, second half action. St. Mark's with a 29-22 lead over DMA at the break.
Partnerships built on relationships. That's our motto at CBM Insurance, and those words guide everything we do. We provide the best possible service experience because our focus is on the relationship first. When you join CBM, you join a team. Partnerships built on relationships. That's our motto at CBM Insurance, and those words guide everything we do. We provide the best possible service experience because our focus is on the relationship first. When you join CBM, you join a team with an average of 20 years in the insurance industry, long-standing relationships with our carrier partners, and deep roots in our community. We stand ready to be your trusted partner and insurance advisor.
It's brutal, so slow.
Good thing we brought Jersey Mike's. Is that Danny DeVito?
Don't worry about me. This is a commercial for Jersey Mike's. And at Jersey Mike's, the subs matter most. Freshly sliced right in front of you. That's what matters here. Almost forgot. I found your ball.
It's a rock.
Where the subs matter most. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
We're here with Zach Ryan, the executive director of the SL24 Foundation. Great to see you, man.
Good to see you.
How you doing, all right?
Been doing all right, yeah. It's been a busy year, and we're looking forward to 2025.
A lot of amazing things happening here. I got a few questions for you. I want to start off, first off, with the Peer 24 program, okay? So we need to get people to understand what this is all about. How do they help, and then how do you get involved? So let's get an overview first and foremost, Peer 24.
Yeah, so it's really the heart of what we do. It's young people helping young people. So we have a 9-week training program that's complete with healthcare theater, mock sessions, all these things that allow a young person that has lived experience to kind of take that knowledge with some training, help another young person that's struggling. So we have 2 trainings a year, and we're training the next crop of young professionals in the mental health space. And it's just really exciting.
How old do you have to be? Who's part of this program? I know there's over 270 that you've actually trained now.
Yeah, so it's 16 is the youngest.
Okay.
And then we'll go through college age students. And it's just kind of like, how can we, at Sean's rooms, Sean's houses, have people always ready to staff, always ready to talk to people?
Now, are they here? Do they have certain times that they're here at Sean's house? And what about at the Sean's rooms?
So it kind of is unique to the community. As we continue to expand, we always want to make sure our foundation is 24/7, 365. And so it makes sense here in a college town to always be ready, because sometimes, that Ring doorbell rings at 3 o'clock in the morning, and we always have somebody ready. At the high schools or the community centers, it's a little bit different. So it might be a lunchtime where a lot of students are coming in. They just, maybe they bombed a test, or maybe they've got something going on after school, and they need to talk to somebody. At the community center, at the teen warehouse, it's Friday nights. That's when the most people are coming through, and that's when they're talking about what's going on with them.
A lot of new things going on here as well. Wanted to ask you about the Teen Summit. What was that all about?
Yeah, it was a first for us. We gathered over 100 young people and actually teachers, guidance counselors at the Teen Warehouse, one of our Sean's Room locations, and we said, let's have a conversation about mental health. And all of those folks gathered, and it was around that theme from last year, 2024, more than. I'm more than my struggles. I'm more than my diagnosis. I'm more than the worst thing I've ever done. I'm also more than my successes. I'm not defined by any of these things. It's all of these things. I'm a human. I'm a unique person. And so we had Benjamin Wagner, who's like kind of a thought leader in the space. He was our keynote, but I would say like kind of the real keynotes, and he would agree with me, were the kids. We had young people get up from different schools, different locations, and talk about their own struggle and how they're more than that.
Speaking of the outreach, like you just said, I mean, you have the basketball tournament, which is up in Wilmington. In the wintertime, you have the volleyball tournament in the summer at Dewey Beach, which is amazing. And then all these rooms starting to develop throughout the whole state as well. So tell us a little bit more about outreach and how this entire state's getting involved, right?
What I love about this state, coming from Florida, it's a little state that's like a loving neighborhood. And I think we kind of find when we do a volleyball tournament, all these people gather and they hear about what's happening up in Newcastle County and say, why not here? Right. And now we're saying in a more deliberate way, yeah, why not? So I'd say be on the lookout for how we might be expanding in Sussex and Kent County. I can't say anything yet, but like we're looking to make some inroads and some really deliberate outreach in Sussex.
There's been so many people that have come through here that also work here, including yourself and the people that we've been involved in for many years. It's always important when someone has probably had to go through this personally themselves to be able to help others. I know you're one of those individuals. Like, tell me a little bit more about your journey, what it means to you, and why it's so important for you here and in this role and what you're now doing for others.
Yeah, so over the course of the past year and a half, I've seen young people come through these doors, and I've seen them struggle. In a 15-year teaching career, I lost students. I saw students come in with struggles. But I think one of the things that like kind of has impacted me was seeing a parent bring their child in here. And it was a little abstract until March, when I had my wife had our daughter, Kira, and now I've got a little baby, and I'm worried that she's gonna have my anxiety. I'm worried that like she is going to walk into a room and despite everything that we say, she's gonna think she's not enough. Like I think I'm not enough. And she's gonna think that she is failing, even though things are going well and people are smiling and she's smiling. And so when I saw those parents have the courage to bring those kids in, it hit different in March now that I have Kira. And so I've made deliberate efforts to like work on my own anxiety, work on my own feelings of feeling trapped, feeling anxious, having imposter syndrome, because I want to be the best dad to her that I can be.
You're in the right place, you know that, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think we all are. It's been great to see you again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zach.
From your favorite athletes to your favorite music, listen to everything you love and so much more with the free iHeartRadio app. From live play-by-play to your favorite game day anthems and the biggest sports podcasts in the world, the iHeartRadio app lets you take it all with you and stay connected to your favorite team wherever you go. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Who will he grow up to be? Well, that depends on all of us. That's why, along with our groundbreaking medical care, Nemours Children's Health supports programs that address issues like food insecurity and the resources essential to learning. It's all part of creating a healthier future for all children. So, he can grow up to be whoever he wants to be. Nemours Children's Health, well beyond medicine.
It's brutal. So slow.
Good thing we brought Jersey Mike's. Is that Danny DeVito?
Don't worry about me. This is a commercial for Jersey Mike's. And at Jersey Mike's, the subs matter most. Freshly sliced right in front of you. That's what matters here. Almost forgot. I found your ball.
It's a rock.
Where the subs matter most. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
People hurt. We're human. We're all wounded. The only ones who aren't wounded are babies. They're innocent. Innocent comes from the Latin innocens, which means without wound. But the rest of us, we've been hurt. We've had experiences along the way where you're with somebody and you have concern because the way they're talking seems to indicate that they're not well, that they're not happy with who they are or what's happening in their life, and they may possibly be indicating that they don't want to be around, that maybe it'd be better if they weren't here. If you find yourself in that situation, you don't let them go. You take their hand and say, listen to me, I hear you, I'm present, I'm listening. Don't take their suffering, their pain lightly. Let them know that you want to be there for them and see them to the next step, which means, yes, you need to connect them with somebody who knows how to take their hand from your hand and guide them beyond this moment. They are indicating to you something because they trust you. And you need to let them know that what you need to do for them is out of concern, is out of your goodness. If we make a mistake, if we are overreacting, so be it. They'll still be here. I'll make it clear, if somebody speaks to you and uses the S word, that is such a huge flag. That's the big one. Do not let them go. You must see them through to someone else that can make a difference for them.
and so much more. With the free iHeartRadio app. From live play-by-play to your favorite game day anthems and the biggest sports podcasts in the world, the iHeartRadio app lets you take it all with you and stay connected to your favorite team wherever you go. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Who will he grow up to be? Well, that depends on all of us. That's why, along with our groundbreaking medical care, Nemours Children's Health supports programs that address issues like food insecurity and the resources essential to learning. It's all part of creating a healthier future for all children. So, he can grow up to be whoever he wants to be. Nemours Children's Health, well beyond medicine.
The 7th annual SL24 Basketball Classic is brought to you by BPG Sports, High Five Hospitality and Buffalo Wild Wings, iHeartRadio, Kevin and Marion Healy, and Mark and Pat Siegel.
It's halftime at the SL24 Basketball Classic, the 7th annual event, and Sean's alma mater, St. Mark's, on top 29-22. This is the final game of the night on Friday, but we start off February with a bang, beginning at 10:24 in the morning. 24, the jersey number worn by Sean Locke, and what a slate of games tomorrow.
Boy, these are terrific. I'm looking at the 2 o'clock game, St. George's and Polytech. St. George's off to a terrific start. Anytime at 4 o'clock, you can watch Ursuline play. Johnny Noonan is a pleasure. This Odessa team at 6 o'clock is terrific. And then the 8 o'clock game, which I'm hoping to get back from Monmouth, Sally's and Sanford, should be special.
You'll be on your way back from watching a Delaware win, hopefully, against the Hawks in New Jersey.
Our guys tell me we're ready to go. I talked to them
great
today.
Basketball games. Salesianum versus Sanford. That's one of those ones where you throw the record out when those two teams get together. We're excited to finish this one, though. Tariq Warner with a miss to start things off. Warner had 2 in the first half of basketball. Kemp led the scores for St. Mark's. He had 9, 7 points for O'Connor and Lennon for DMA. As it's a 7-point lead for the Spartans, coached by Lonnie Wright in his 4th season. A great job with this program. Named head coach in July of 2021. He's reached the quarterfinals twice in 3 seasons with the Spartans. DMA's done a nice job of battling back. They scored the first 6 points, a 17-0 run by St. Mark's in the first quarter. Had them down big, but they've made a ball game of it. And what a block, rising to reject it, Shannon Cohen.
Well, you're absolutely right. What they did was they solidified their offense, started running some better actions, and then were able to take good care of the ball. And that's a player that drove it there, Max Batten, that I think has a lot of upside. They don't run a lot of plays for him, but he's a big guy, a hustler, good rebounder, very physical. Look for him to get some more action as the game goes on.
And as we welcome back in Luke Podolak to the ball game for St. Mark's, Warner goes to the bench. We also welcome back in Zach Ryan, the executive director of SL24, to the broadcast. I say welcome back because we talked to you hours ago now during the first broadcast. St. Elizabeth took on Archmere. Welcome back, though. Great to have you on. The day has been a whirlwind, but in all the very best ways. What a start to this event.
I was going to say, it feels like days ago when I was last here with how much has happened. Olivia's performance, the awards that we were able to give out, the message that Chris has given to everybody in attendance. I mean, it's remarkable.
Olivia Rubini was an addition this year to sing just an amazing rendition of the national anthem and then Stand By You, which brought this crowd, I'm sure, many to tears. It was an amazing rendition. I feel like I was watching a private concert, and with the lights in the background, what a powerful scene. How did that get added to the event this year?
Well, I'll tell you what, it started with watching The Voice with my wife, and it was that point like, oh my gosh, Delaware. And then it just so happened with those Padua connections that somebody reached out and said, we have this opportunity to have her here. And then when Chris heard the song that she sang and he looked at those lyrics, I mean, we just knew it was right for this event.
It was an amazing performance, and those that were able to see her and just feel the passion in her voice, you could tell it meant a lot for her to be here as well. You mentioned watching The Voice with your wife. You're a family man. You have a daughter. And how did having a child maybe change your vantage point on mental health?
So I remember standing on this hardwood last year. You know, my wife was pregnant. You know, it was kind of any day now. And so, you know, that wasn't stressful with this event going on. But I remember saying to the crowd that I don't want my daughter to have anxiety like me. I don't want her to be worried when they go into a room and everybody's smiling, but you're on the inside not smiling. And you're on the inside and you're really struggling and you're carrying all this weight. Since Kira was born, my whole life's changed. It's like a whole new lens, and there's nobody that I care about more. And it makes this mission even more important. Sean's House needs to be around for Kira when she's, you know, in middle school, high school, and college. And that's why we're here. That's why we're asking people to donate. That's why we're asking people to listen. That's why we're playing this basketball game, so we can get that message out to more people, because I want it there for Kira.
And thanks to Sean's House, if she ever does have a problem where she's facing depression or any of her friends are, she'll be able to tell them where to go. And that's what this event is for Sean's House, for the SL24 Unlock the Light Foundation. If someone is watching now, wants to be able to help, how can they do so?
So they can text Classic 7 to 53555 or go to unlockthelight.com. That's where you're going to find out about those resources. That's where we're going to tell more of the story, because every day somebody is coming in with a unique story, and it might align with what you're struggling with. The thing that I find when I go to schools, there's kids that just can't describe what they're going through. You know, if I say anxiety or depression, that might mean one thing to them. But if I just say, hey, it's like, you know, wearing a coat you can't take off, you know, on days when it's raining or days when it's hot, and you just never can get it off. Do you ever feel like that? They might identify with that, right? And so those stories are on the website. Those kind of the different guests that come through Sean's House, those vignettes are going to be, like, the picture's going to be painted, but you're also going to be able to see all the resources that we provide. The education, the peer support program, the one-on-one peer sessions, the connections to the clinical network that we have. And so all of those folks are there. All those network has been built up to help those people at their darkest moments. You know, it's really to provide light. Just the other week, we had a parent bring in their child. And as a dad, you know, that was something that really hit home with me, you know? To be brave enough to bring that child in, and for that child to be, you know, brave enough to come in with their parent and get the help they need.
And you know what? 4 years ago, 5 years ago, that same parent probably wouldn't have known where to go or what to do. And that's the difference that Sean's House is making for parents, for young adults in the community.
The stigma's real, and it's pervasive, and it can be unique to communities and the individual. But one thing that we hear the most at Sean's House, or when we're at a school or an event, is, you know, I said it before, but it's important to repeat. They feel like they're a burden. And I, like, if we can just tell kids that you are not a burden, young people, you are not a burden. Everybody wants you here. Everybody wants you alive. Everybody wants you and your light in this world. And they just don't think they can share it.
Well, 139 or 140 people actively thought that they were a burden or didn't have an outlet and were ready to take their lives, unfortunately, and 140 lives have been saved. Active crises served at Sean's House at such a significant number, and that doesn't take into effect the 30,000 others that didn't get to that point because they walked through those doors.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, this event is more than basketball. And these are more than athletes. We walk into the locker room, we have a talk. Chris talks about how important this event is, but we also share with them that they're a light, and that they can be a light to others. And so to get that message out there, so other young people, that's our model. Like, it's peers talking to peers. So out in these stands, this is where somebody's hearing about this message, and they're ready to take their friend when they really need it. And we've seen that. Hey, I was at the event.
we hadn't spoken at the school yet, but they were at this basketball event, and that's when they got help.
It's such fantastic work that you and the staff and the team at the Unlock the Life Foundation is doing, and thank you so much for coming on and helping spread the message. I know you'll do the same tomorrow. Big day of basketball tomorrow. We're not done. We're raising money. We're raising funds for Sean's house. Zach, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Always good to see you.
All right, that's Zachary Ryan, the executive director at SL24, just doing fantastic work, and his message so powerful. Everyone that we speak to, their message so strong, and for all the right reasons, to help young people have a place to go. For those that are watching this game and are here in attendance, they're going to see Lock 24 and these T-shirts, and they're going to, maybe those thought they were going to a basketball game. Oh, very cool. There's a game at the Chase Fieldhouse to see some friends play basketball. And then they come here and they learn more about the cause and really why we're playing basketball today. We're talking to guests throughout the broadcast, and maybe we've ignored the play on the court at periods of time throughout the broadcast because it's more than a basketball game. So we are talking about more than just a basketball game. We're talking about the cause, and what a great cause it is. We're so privileged to be here, Bill.
Absolutely, Scott. And what always impresses me about this night and tomorrow is just the genuine honesty that people have about sharing their story, whatever their story is. And I think years ago, 10, 15 years ago, would have been much more difficult for people to do that. And if nothing else comes out of this movement is that it's okay to tell people that maybe you have some issues. And I think that's remarkable. And I, talking to Zach, listening to Chris, everybody, you, even your comments are so poignant to me that it's just, it's beyond refreshing and energizing to me about this cause when you get that type of passion and emotion.
We welcome back into the broadcast Barnett Harrison. Thank you so much for being here. A teammate of Sean's at the University of Delaware. And as we watch this one, a close ball game here as DMA is working their way back into it. But great to have you back on the call, Barnett.
Great to be back with the best in the business.
Well, that'll be tomorrow, Barnett, if you're able to broadcast any games on Saturday.
I want to know how that officiating venture went out there.
That's right. And between games, Barnett was the absolute hero for a grade school basketball teams that were competing at halftime. They forgot to give him basketballs, and Barnett takes the initiative and found a game ball for him. Well done, Barnett.
I just try to do my part, my small part.
Whatever you can do, and you're helping everyone. And a helper there dropped off by Khalil Kemp. He found his teammate Nathan Meyer, who's got 4 points. Kemp, leading scorer in the ball game for St. Mark's, and gets an assist there.
And that's St. Mark's basketball at its best. Creating offense out of their defense, the tip ball, the run out, Kemp being very unselfish, dropping the ball off to Meyer, who is an underrated athlete, plays extremely hard, runs lanes well, blocks out, does a lot of little things for Coach Lonnie Taylor's program.
I got to see Kemp get above the rim, because you got a name like Kemp, you're wearing green and yellow. Reminds me of Sean back in the 90s, the Rain Man. See if we can get Kemp a dunk here. That's an old reference.
I didn't know you were old enough to know Sean.
Barnett old enough to get that one?
Oh, I know Sean Kemp.
Well, not really.
Khalil would make Sean proud the way he's been playing, leading his St. Mark's team. They're up 34-28. We see Avignon with the basketball coming in. Doesn't play a whole lot for St. Mark's. They're down a player. His friend is not available. And picking up the slack is Dylan Bromwell. He is the sharpshooter on this basketball team. Only a freshman. We have seen so many solid ninth graders play in games today, and Dylan Bromwell is one of them, shooting just under 50% on the year from distance. He does not look like a freshman. You know what, Bill? When the game started, and I had in my notes that there was a freshman sharpshooter on the team, I was trying to find him when he warmed up, and because he doesn't look like a ninth grader out there. He's as big as many of the 12th graders on the floor, and he's got a great future in Lonnie Wright's program.
Well, the first time I scouted St. Mark's this year, I just watched the floor. They didn't have numbers yet, so I couldn't tell who was who, and I watched this guy drain about 10 in a row from the right corner. I said, that must be Bromwell, and I'll tell you what, he has had a great season. They played a difficult schedule. He is their guy they run sets for. He's good from the corners. He's difficult in transition. But what I like about him is he also plays defense. He hustles. He's a passer. So he's got a complete game besides being an excellent long-range shooter.
Well, a timeout taken on the floor. You can see Max Batten knocking one down from a long range. So a timeout taken by Papillo, the head man of Delaware Military Academy. And this St. Mark's team, they've had 2 4-game winning streaks this season. They're 8-2 on the year, a top team in the state with help from Bromwell, who shoots the ball so well. He's made it 3 now in 9 of 11 games so far on this season. And Barnett, I think you might be the good luck charm, because while you've been sitting with us, I feel like St. Mark's is plus 20, 21 on the broadcast. You weren't with us as they started to go down 6-0. We were talking to Dave Baylor. We talked with Chris Locke, and DMA made a game of it. Now you're back here, and they're drilling triples, so you must be the good luck charm for St. Mark's. DMA wants us. I just got something in my ear. The timeout was from DMA. They want to see if you can get off of the call.
Oh, man, maybe I got a little Spartan blood.
We'll let you stay on. We love having you, and we love being here at this event. What an amazing event it will be. It has been today. It will be tomorrow. 6 more tomorrow, starting at 10:24.
Just warming up, right?
Just getting started. But right now, DMA after the timeout, what do they need to do to get themselves back to within 4 where they were just a moment ago?
I think they need to do what was working for them. Get the ball back to Lennon, allow him to create some offense, and if he's not there, drive and kick, and attack the glass for some second chance points.
Lennon had the first 6 points of the third quarter, and they haven't been able to get back to him. He's a great basketball player for the Seahawks, 9 times in double figures. He's 2 away from getting there.
Lennon's their leader. They need to run things through him, but they also need to get a little bit more action inside. They very rarely go to the big man. He is a capable scorer. He's a right shoulder turner, left-hand shooter, but they don't really run any actions for him. Makes it very difficult to get any easy baskets.
St. Mark's going to run some offense here. Avignon over to Batten, who made a 3-pointer last time he had the ball in his hands. Ball low. Oh, Lennon had an opportunity on a run out if he could have scooped it, but he just never possessed the basketball. He was looking ahead, something you talk about on the football field when you're trying to scoop and score a fumble. Make sure you have it first, and Lennon would have had maybe a breakaway dunk, but it is DMA basketball as it rolled out of bounds.
Well, I can sense a little frustration from Tariq Warner, who is their second leading scorer and a great 3-point shooter. He usually comes off the bench. Friend is sick or whatever tonight, not able to play. But Warner generally gives him a huge lift when he re-enters the game.
Under a minute, third quarter action. Ryan Shaw with the basketball inside to Lennon. A nice entry and a whistle away from the action. They call 3 seconds.
Very rarely do you see that call anymore at any level of basketball.
I had to turn to you to understand what the whistle was for. I've caught a lot of broadcasts. I cannot remember the last time. I saw a 5-second earlier today and a 3-second. They have got their timers out tonight at the Chase Field.
Now all we need is a 10-second call.
That's right. I don't wish that upon either of the teams, but that would be the triple crown of calls this evening. A 12-point lead for St. Mark's, 40-28. DMA's gotten within 4 here in the second half after trailing 29-22 at the break. Ball goes out of bounds. These 2 teams played last year in the SL24 Basketball Classic. Win went to St. Mark's last season, 67-54. And a foul as Warner gets the rib. Tariq Warner, it is interesting that he does come off the bench, because you don't find that in high school basketball. We talked about how deep this St. Mark's team is, and that's one of the reasons he's able to not start. But typically in high school basketball, best 5, those are the starters, run them out there. But a nice strategy by Lonnie Wright, and because of the depth, allowing him to watch the game for a moment and impact the game after play begins.
And Coach Wright loves to mass substitute. At times he'll bring 3, 4, even sometimes 5 players in at once. That's certainly confusing from a matchup standpoint if you're playing man against them. But what it does is it gives his starters a chance to get a breather. He wants to play an up-tempo game, pressure, run-outs, and if you can play 9 or 10 people, you're going to be fresh throughout the game.
And kudos to Warner for understanding that and looking as if he's okay with that, because it can be a shot. A guy could come in and say, Coach, I'm the second leading scorer on the team. I'm the leading scorer on the team. I should be starting. Doesn't seem like that is something that Warner is too worried about. He's worried about the wins and losses, and right now, St. Mark's is 8-2 on the year.
Well, they've played a difficult schedule. They'll play almost anybody. Coach Wright does not mind taking them out of state and playing. So this is a team that by tournament time is going to be well-tested and well-schooled and have a lot of experience in big moments.
Final seconds of the third quarter, and Shaw gets a shot off of the mark. And that'll bring us to the final quarter of night number one at the Chase Fieldhouse. It's the SL24 Basketball Classic, and we have 8 minutes to go here on a Friday night. Stay with us as St. Mark's takes a 42-28 lead into the final period.
It's brutal. So slow.
Good thing we brought Jersey Mike's. Is that Danny DeVito?
Don't worry about me. This is a commercial for Jersey Mike's. And at Jersey Mike's, the subs matter most. Freshly sliced right in front of you. That's what matters here. Almost forgot. I found your ball.
It's a rock.
Where the subs matter most. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
The 7th annual SL24 Basketball Classic is brought to you by Marticelli Restaurant Group, Matt Haley Trust, Nemours, TKO Hospitality, and by Warren & Taylor.
Sean Locke's alma mater on top as we head into the final frame of night number one. St. Mark's up 42-28 over DMA. Final 8 minutes of this one. It's been a fun night so far, and we can't wait for tomorrow's 6 games as well. Welcome back into the broadcast. I'm Scott Klatskin alongside Barnett Harris and Bill Harmon. And we've been watching some talented teams on this floor so far today.
We certainly have. There's been great energy all night, a lot of really fine play, and most importantly, everybody understanding why they're out there and what this is all about here tonight, and then, of course, throughout tomorrow's day into the evening.
Absolutely. It's been an incredible night one, as every night one that we've been doing this has been. The energy has been there. It's been emotional at times. It's just been an amazing event, and the basketball has been really good as well.
I like the addition of the third game, except that my team lost.
Bill, he's referencing Coach Harmon is we call him Coach Harmon for a reason. He is the coach of that Archmere squad. You could point to the fact that you were sitting with us and you weren't drawing up the X's and O's. Perhaps that was they missed you over there.
They don't need me on the sideline. My job is to get them ready to play. But Nick Santa and the rest of the staff, Bubba McDonald, Squatty McDonald, Mickey Williams, Calvin Scott, guys that we coached at St. Mark's and played for us over there, do a fabulous job. And I'm just a visitor, Scott.
But it was a great addition to a night that usually is, or has been, St. Mark's girls, St. Mark's boys versus an opponent, the same opponents as last season. But they added one more. The number 2 team of the state came in and they got a victory without their leading scorer on the year. Congratulations to St. Elizabeth at that 4:30 game. Tomorrow, just a full slate of basketball games. It all leads up to Sally's versus Sanford at 8 o'clock with Odessa versus Middletown. That'll be a great one, as Shannon Cullen is going to be shooting some free throws in practice on Monday. I think, unfortunately, he has missed 5 in this contest today, as you see Coach Billow just cross his arms and wonder what's going on with Shannon, who made the first bucket of the basketball game, made a 3, a line drive triple that went in. Does make his 6th try of the night from the free throw line. He gets the Seahawks on the board in the 4th.
Well, St. Mark's can be very dangerous when they can space the court and you're forced to extend on them.
That misfires long there. Cowan with a rebound. DMA at 29 points. They've been held under 40 points 3 times this season, so sometimes they do struggle to score the basketball, and they got 6:50 to get to that mark at 29 right now. St. Mark's up 43-29.
Well, this is a team DMA that really relies on their defense and their athleticism. St. Mark's has been able to match that. Also gotten a lot of easy baskets out of their defense as St. Mark's. So DMA will go back to the drawing board, but they play very tough. They've got a difficult schedule, so they'll be experienced as they get closer to the state tournament time.
Still 6:30 left to go in this one, down by 12, but plenty of time for a comeback, especially if they share the basketball like their last possession. They ended with a Cowan layup. Now Shaw into the corner, hard to grip, but he gets it. He's stuck, spins past the freshman. A Euro step off the window. Oh, if he made that one, we were sending it to Sports Center, but it did not fall.
Scott, I think that was a little bit unfortunate because DMA had the numbers. They had a 5-on-4, and they really did not take advantage of that at a pretty crucial time where they at the very least needed to get 2 points there.
Instead, a foul on the other end of the floor is Xavier Tapper, who made a couple free throws in a bucket in the first half, was fouled. He'll inbound with 6:11 left to play. Cowan jumps and gets the steal. Coach Papillo saying Cowan is the guy that defends the opponent's best player every time out on the floor. And we've seen how great of a defender he is. And how about on the offensive end? The putback and the foul from Jackson Lennon. And here come the Seahawks.
Well, Lennon is going to be the key cog to this comeback. He's a good defender. He's a good rebounder. That time in great position to take care of the miss by Ryan Shaw as he went in a little out of control. We were talking about Xavier Tapper earlier, and he's one of those super subs that Coach Lonnie Wright brings in that group that substitutes at the end of the first quarter and sometimes at the beginning of the third quarter. So he brings a lot of effort, and he's a good scorer and an excellent rebounder.
Lennon's got 9 in the second half alone, 16 in the ball game. And 9 is the deficit now for DMA as they try to battle back. Tapper gets the ball knocked out of his hands. Cowan knocks it away. It'll stay with St. Mark's. St. Mark's coached by Lonnie Wright. You mentioned the head man in his 4th season, but he's got a great bench as well. Jim Friel, Jordan Wright, and Derek Nurse over there as well. Jim Friel, longtime assistant and the head man on the girls' side.
You want to talk about a great shooter. Coach Jim Friel was one of the best high school shooters back in the 80s that I've ever seen. And he can still go out on the court and put on a clinic. He has a beautiful stroke, tall, very graceful with his shot. He's a great person to watch and teach the game.
And he's benefited these St. Mark's Spartans by being there on the bench, helping out some players like Dylan Bromwell, who light it up from downtown. Tapper's been perfect at the free throw line. Continues that way as he knocks that one in, the junior, wearing number 25. Lonnie Wright's done a nice job with this team. And I almost got away without a broadcaster's jinx all night, but as soon as I give Tapper kudos for his job at the free throw line, he misses one. On the other end, it's Warner. He'll be on the run. DMA does get back defensively, but they cannot stop Tariq Warner from getting to the rim, laying it up and through. And Coach Papillo of DMA wants to call a timeout. He'll talk things over. Some frustration right now on the side of DMA.
Well, Tariq Warner can make a lot of things happen. He's an excellent ball handler. He's very crafty with his body movements out on the court. And that time he just snaked his way through the DMA defense to score at a very difficult angle, left-handed on the right side.
We're watching a basketball game. We watched a great move by Warner to get to the cup. But this is more than a basketball game. It is to raise funds for the SL24 Foundation and Unlock the Light, helping so many. Sean's House, the objectives to educate, assist, and support SL24, ending the stigma by informing young people that they can better understand mental health challenges. They can seek out wellness strategies and provide themselves with life-changing resources. If you want to help, head to givebutter.com/SL24Classic7 or just scan that QR code. Bill can't do that. He's got a flip phone. Pull it out there, Bill. Wish we could get that on camera.
Oh, my goodness.
He's got the flip phone, so you can't do that, nor can you go donate online via your phone. Barnett and I can. But for those that are watching on a computer or on your phone and have a normal phone from this century, he's got a backup phone. He's got the backup iPhone, does Bill. You can head to givebutter.com/SL24 Classic 7. You can also text Classic 7 to 5355. Bill, I think you have text messages on your phone, so you can do that. You can
I usually get in there about once a week and erase the ones that I don't need.
Don't want to take up too much memory. Oh, I almost got my Kemp dunk there, Barnett.
Me too. I was looking for it. I thought that was going to be the one.
Not quite like the Rain Man from the Seattle Supersonics, but it counts for 2 all the same as St. Mark's now up by 14, 48-34. Shaw trying to cut in.
That was the first 3 in his last 5 attempts that he's taken from the high school range. His last 4 were all from the G League range.
And now a turnover. And Lennon's got 2 more. He's got double figures in the second half alone. Nice job by Cowan with the assist there. And perhaps a turnover. No, Warner's got it.
I tell you what, both of these coaches in their next practice, they're going to just talk to the guys about mistakes and controlling the game, how we can control it. There have been some terrible turnovers, some terrible one-handed passes that have either cost turnovers or almost led to turnovers, and that's frustrating on both sides.
And there's a turnover and a foul for Kukalo. You saw him crashing in, and a couple guys' legs got tangled there. I don't know necessarily who that was fouling. A bang-bang play, they gave it to the offensive player. It gives an opportunity for the Seahawks. You know, that Shaw 3 was a big one. He's the team's best three-point shooter. As you mentioned, been off the mark a bit in today's game, but it does keep the hopes alive for DMA. That came at a big moment for Ryan Shaw.
Well, this game is far from over, especially if St. Mark's has these lapses in their defense and their ball handling, allowing DMA, who I will tell you this, always compete.
I'm not sure how that wasn't a foul, Barnett. The guy ran into a DMA player. It will remain DMA basketball. Letting him play. Is that what you'd call it, letting him play?
Yeah.
4 minutes left to go in quarter number 4. As the ball comes our way and another turnover. This is back and forth in a way that I'm sure both coaches are not pleased with.
And that's what good defense does to people. It makes them speed up. When you're pressured, you should do the opposite of what your body tells you to do. You should play slower, play at your pace, because the defense wants you to speed up to create opportunities for turnovers and mistakes.
Warner gliding through. He came in the lane with speed and then slowed down with a soft touch to get over the rim.
He's a terrific athlete, has wonderful body control, really good balance.
Tariq Warner almost in double figures. Starter tonight typically off the bench, and now another turnover. That area, they've been mopping up throughout the night. We've seen a lot of slippage in that specific spot on the floor.
And a lot of bodies going down over there. Scott, as we've gone through the 3 games here this evening, there's some numbers that have really stuck out to me. 7th year of the SL24. 270 specialists that work down in Sean's house from different times. 33,000 plus people going through Sean's house. And I guess the most poignant number to me is 139 lives.
Absolutely
Amazing.
remarkable.
Amazing.
The efforts of Sean's house, and a great reminder from Bill there that there are people in active crisis that have been served and saved by Sean's house. And I don't know how many of that 139 count would be here another day without the efforts of the SL24 Foundation. It's why we are here. This is a great slate of basketball, but there's a reason that this event has come together. It's to raise funds and awareness that Sean's house is available. Yes, we're asking you to donate, and if you're watching now, we hope that you feel compelled to do so. But if you can't, then not everybody can. At least spread the word. At least talk about it. At least let people know that Sean's house is available, because the more people that know about it, the more lives that will be saved in the memory of Sean Locke.
And that's just the beauty of being a part of an organization that's trying to give back to their community in the face of tragedy. And that's why it's so near and dear in my heart to be a part of this organization. Just as small, I don't even do much, but just as small contributions I can make me feel so much better, because I know it's doing good in this community. Young people's lives are being saved, young people's lives are being changed. They're getting the help and resources they need. And that's just such a wonderful feeling inside, knowing that you're playing a part in helping shape the next generation, helping make sure that they have all that they need when they are struggling or when they are going through a tough time in life. And it's just so amazing to see and hear all the stories about people who said Sean's house helped them. It's amazing to see.
It is an incredible couple of days, and it's a great reminder every year. I look forward to this because it's a great reset of what's important in your life, and just a reminder to not take anything for granted on a day-to-day basis. And just so happy to be here this evening as we saw Sean O'Connor foul out of the ball game. A turnover for St. Mark's as we get back into some action. Kemp getting away with a little reach-in foul there. Barnett, you mentioned that you were a small part of things. How tall of a gentleman are you?
I'm about 6'9".
6'9", 6'10".
You used to be 6'9",
Nothing you do is small, Barnett. You are you're a living legend. You're a giant for all that you've done at the University of Delaware and for this cause. And so I don't want you to think that you are a small part of anything. You are a major part of everything that this foundation does.
Oh, I thank you.
You know, we were talking about things that people can do, and I mentioned it earlier in the broadcast about volunteering. Maybe you can't give money or whatever the situation, but if you can give your time, that in many cases is even more valuable. And it's amazing how many volunteers. I wouldn't even be able to hazard a guess as how many were involved tonight. But I'll tell you what, there's a huge presence here, and this thing doesn't happen if it isn't for the volunteers.
A lot of people working hard to make sure that this event goes off without a hitch, and they're doing a great job here in Wilmington. Who else is doing a great job shooting some threes? That Ryan Shaw from the corner. That's his second one he's made in the second half. And every time we think that perhaps St. Mark's is going to have enough to run away and get what would be their 9th victory of the season, Shaw has hit a shot that keeps this game close. And right now, DMA down by 8. St. Mark's up 52-44. They just won't go away. It's happened several times in this basketball game where St. Mark's builds up a bigger lead and DMA keeps on fighting.
I think that speaks highly of the program and Fran Papillo and his staff. This is a team that never quits no matter what. They're going to play hard. They're going to give you their best effort. It may not be the prettiest of all, as it is with many teams, but you know they're going to compete to the end, and that's always something I tell our team when we're playing DMA. You're going to get their best shot, and you better be ready for it because they'll play hard for, in this case, 32 minutes.
And as Coach Papillo's team comes out onto the floor after the timeout, what a job he's done in a short amount of time. Now, he took over a program that was 3-17 the year prior, and he made the playoffs last season. 12-8 record. You go from 3-17 to 12-8, and now you're 10-3 on the season. Certainly heading for the DIAA tournament later on in the season. Really impressive stuff what he's been able to do at DMA in a short period of time.
Absolutely, and he learned his lessons well from his head coach Hill, who he had worked for a number of years until the passing. And he was an institution at DMA, and Fran Papillo has certainly picked up in his absence and done a really good job.
DMA in the bonus, so now you're in a situation, Barnett, where you can score with the clock stopped, but Cowan's got to make these free throws. He is 1 of 6 today from the stripe.
And Lonnie Wright going with some of his subs here. He's got some of his better players on the bench, his starters on the bench. This game is far from over. 131, only an 8-point margin.
Not helping the cause, though. Another missed free throw. Frustrating day for Shannon Cohen at the stripe. 91 ticks left. The second one would help out big, and it does. He gets 1 of 2. Makes it a 7-point lead for St. Mark's. They should be in a hurry here. DMA with a reach in, they foul. And now St. Mark's should go to the line as that's the 5th on the Seahawks.
Well, St. Mark's is typically a very good free throw shooting team. Now they definitely have some different players out there right now who aren't used to this kind of moment. And we'll find out how much all that practice is going to do here for
Xavier Tapper,
Xavier
1 of
Tapper.
2 at the stripe.
And he's pretty solid, isn't he, Scott? You could not jinx him.
That's right. Coming in the ball game, and Cowan goes out.
Sir, one gentleman, one.
That was his fourth. I didn't think that he fouled out of the ball game. So an interesting substitution, unless he did foul out. I thought that was his fourth. Perhaps taken out because of the free throw shooting. Shaw to make it interesting, and it is. Shaw has come alive here late for DMA, and they just won't go away. It's a 2-possession lead now for St. Mark's after the long ball. That's where the blue coats shoot it from.
And that's a logo shot. It's SL24 logo shot.
It should be worth 4
unbelievable
points.
range.
And that makes it very interesting. As I said, St. Mark's now up only 54-48. Every time we thought they had enough to get the victory, a big shot from number 1. He is 1/3 of the entire team's three-point makes on the season. And he's got some range on that shot. So now we see, just as I suspected, Cowan is back in the ballgame. He's their best defender, and he has not fouled out. So he was just moved out perhaps for some offense, or maybe he needed a blow to be available in the final 69 seconds of this one. He does return. He's a pivotal part of what this team does defensively.
If I'm DMA, I'm getting one trap and then a foul, unless it's Cowan, because I think he needs to be out there, and I don't want him to waste his 5th foul. But he tried to get one good trap, then if not, try to get a foul, force him to make him from the line.
Full court pressure and a 5-second violation. The timers are working on all of the watches for the officials today at the Chase Fieldhouse. We've seen a 5-second dribbling call, a 5-second inbounding call. We've seen 3 in the key, and DMA is alive and well. Need a basket here. 1:05 to go. Ball goes into the corner. Rice to Shaw. He's had the hot hand. Step back 3. Forced that one. And a little bit of a heat check there. Didn't need to shoot it right in that moment. Obviously, a rhythm shooter. He's felt good about a few makes here in the 4th quarter, but that one was a tough make if it would have gone through.
Well, he was closely guarded and tried to do a jab and then a step back and just could not create enough space to get that shot off. Shaw, not a tall player, under 6 feet, so he's got to be able to create time and space to get that long-range shot off.
Kemp at the line to try to make it a 3-possession lead. 54-48 as it stands. Kemp taking his time. And a beautiful looking free throw. Wouldn't be something we heard a 10-second free throw violation. I think that's the only time
there is a count on that. The official
we haven't heard of.
Mr. Shipman over here on the side doing a nice job getting ready to almost whistle that. You can see his right hand moving if you're watching the officials.
Kemp. Big free throws there from Khalil Kemp.
Huge free throws right
St. Mark's just needs to play solid defense, allow no threes, try not to foul the drivers, keep the clock running.
Ball goes out of bounds. 56-48. We've had some great basketball games here, and we're just getting started. 6 more games tomorrow, starting at 10:24 a.m. Lennon with the drive. Shaw, now Rice. Got to get going here. They've got to find a good look. And a foul going to be called. That'll send Lennon to the free throw line. He's had quite the second half of basketball. A little quiet in the first half, but 11 points in the second frame for Lennon.
Well, Lennon is their leader. He's got to produce in the clutch, trying to take the ball along the baseline. The foul there by Avignon. He's just got to get himself a little square, and then he should stand still as Lennon was trying to probe with his left shoulder and left hip.
Lennon makes a free throw. St. Mark's looking for their 9th win of the season. DMA already at 10. Talked to Dave Baylor earlier in the broadcast, the executive director of the DIAA, and he was right. He mentioned all these teams playing in this classic. It is like a preview of teams that are headed to the state playoffs later on as we get to the end of February.
Well, Dave Baylor knows better than anybody. Running the DIA, he's been around. He's, as I mentioned earlier, he's had a lot of different jobs in this state. Originally a state policeman, worked at the University of Delaware as a liaison between the players and the coaching staff and the administration. Dave is a very reliable guy. He knows his way around the state in many different ways, and he's a really good person to have in charge of the DIA.
I knew him as Major Baylor.
Of course you did.
When he wore that hat at the University of Delaware.
He's of major importance, that's for sure, in the state of Delaware. And it's been such a great evening. Again, it'll continue on Saturday. And what a 7th annual SL24 Basketball Classic start. If you've been watching throughout the broadcast and you want to help out, you can text Classic7 to 53555 to donate. You can also head to unlockthelight.com/donate, or just head to unlockthelight.com for information on all the amazing things that the SL24 Unlock the Light Foundation and Sean's House is doing. You can see the QR code on the screen as well. You can scan the code to be able to donate. And it looks like with 20.6 left to go, as much as DMA battled back, and credit goes to Coach Papillo's squad, it does look like Sean Locke's alma mater is going to pull through. And if you...
Well, they played very hard, but as we all know, when you expend a lot of energy in several different runs to try to get back and never quite getting over the hump to have the lead, it just takes a little bit out of you. But they've had a good performance. This team is very solid. They're well coached. They play hard. They've got several good players. And when you see somebody who can shoot the ball like Shaw from range, and you have an outstanding player like Lennon who can create in a lot of different ways, this team is going to be heard from as the season continues on.
2 missed opportunities at the free throw line, but it put back up and in for Xavier Tapper. Makes it 60-49, and a tough take. A basket and a foul for Owen Brower, who gets a chance to add to his total at the line. DMA going to fall to 10-4 on the season. They had won 4 in a row. They've won 6 out of 7 coming in, just up against a really solid St. Mark's Ball Club. And playing tonight with Sean Locke's jersey on the end of the bench, hanging there. A great touch by Lonnie Wright and his staff as well.
Absolutely. It's so much fun to look over there, as sad as it is, but also invigorating to see that jersey sitting there in the lead chair.
So 6.8 left to go in this one. St. Mark's up 60-51. We'll hope you'll come out tomorrow. If you can't make it out and you see the jersey next to Jordan Wright, the JV coach and son of Lonnie, honoring Sean. We hope you come out. It's a great day of basketball here at an amazing venue as well. Fantastic to be a part of this. If you can't make it out, you can watch the games streaming all day on Saturday. Barnett, you'll be a part of the broadcast as well. Bill, I know you'll be coming in late for that 8 o'clock game.
I tell you what, one thing I like about Coach Wright, he's old school. They're in suits. He's not in sweats.
Well, he's got a victory is what he has tonight, Barnett, as St. Mark's, the alma mater of Sean Locke, win this one 61-51, a final from Wilmington, Delaware. What a great day, a great start to a great weekend of games.
Great time. I've enjoyed this so much being with you both. I love this night. Every night I get to hang out with you two. 3 really good games, but the best part was being with you two.
I appreciate it, Barnett.
Well, you're
we
too kind,
working
Barnett.
with you
Scotty,
as well.
I love the emotion of the evening. That was most poignant to me, and it's been a wonderful night. Looking forward, I won't be here until the late game, but I hope they have a great morning and afternoon, and I love the 10-24 start tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. A great job by everyone to get this event started, and then tomorrow 6 more games starting as early as 10:24 a.m. What an incredible 2-day basketball event here at the Chase Fieldhouse for the 7th annual SL24 Classic, and we got it started with a triple header tonight. The basketball is incredible, but the cause is even better. So as we end the night, just a reminder of why we are here, and I wish we weren't here. I wish I got to see Sean sitting courtside last night at his college alma mater's basketball game instead of his dad, as much as I love seeing Chris. I wish Chris Locke had no reason to have suicide prevention cross his mind, but that is not the reality. Nor is the reality that everyone is as happy as they appear on Instagram and TikTok. The actual reality is that the homecoming king that has it all sometimes feels like he doesn't. The basketball star that Sean was, that scored the winning shot, sometimes feels like he's lost. And the kid voted best smile, as Sean was in high school, sometimes feels like he has nothing to smile about. The reality is, if you feel that way sometimes, you are not alone. 33,000 people have walked through the door at Sean's house since it opened in late 2020, not too long ago. 139 people actively considering suicide have been saved by Sean's house and the SL24 Unlock the Light Foundation. We miss Sean every day, but in his honor and in his legacy, we continue to help those that were in his position battling depression. We've had 3 fantastic basketball games tonight, and we hope you'll come out for 6 more tomorrow. Come early to the Chase Fieldhouse starting at 10:24 a.m. We'll unlock the doors for a full day of hoops, and all you have to do is unlock your light. We love you, Sean. Good night.